In a couple of days, I'm leaving with my family for our yearly trip to Italy. We bring the girls to visit Grandpa and Grandma who live there, and as every year, the prospect of bringing my daughters on a transcontinental flight, plus the flight to get to the transcontinental flight, is not a prospect that makes me all that happy. And as a parent, you always had that temptation of thinking, you know what, there are screens there. My daughters would just keep watching Frozen and other cartoons over and over again until their brain turns into pate, and I can sleep. Then you also decide on the other side that maybe you will want to act as a parent and find ways of entertaining them. And one way for me is to play games with my daughters. So I've been looking the last couple of days for small games, like really small games that I could play on an airplane. And when I saw this game at Target a couple of days ago, Disney, I found it. I know. Disney, I found it. I thought, who knows, maybe this could be it. The game looked interesting, looked like it had nice art. It's a hidden picture card game. Now, a hidden picture game my daughters have played. They play games of this kind. There's one that I like very much. It's called Busy Busy Town. Maybe one day I'll review it too. So I thought, who knows, I'll give this one a try. Didn't know anything about it, but it also was like $5 or $6. So I thought, who knows, if nothing else, the art looks good and my daughters will find other ways of using the cards. Even if we don't play the game, they'll use them to make their compositions. One thing about the game, here are the instructions, and the game is terrible. The game is horrible, the game is pointless, the game clearly has not been designed by somebody who is up to date with standards in modern gaming. The person or persons didn't even put their name on the box, and I'm glad they didn't, so I don't have to look for the email address and write strongly worded emails. It's clearly a game that has been put together by people that do not know much about games. But it comes with some nice components that also can be used for a much better game. So in this game, in this review, I'm going to tell you the way of playing the game that is described in the rule card here, which is, I don't like it at all. I don't like the game that comes with the box at all, but then I'm going to tell you my variant that I came up with. It's very easy, and my others love it. I love it. We even managed to convince our wife to play it. And my wife used to love games very much. Recently, she hasn't played many, but somehow she likes this game. Now, first the components, then the official rules, then my variant, which I hope you will like. The game is formed by these cards that, as in hidden image games, are very detailed. At first, you look at them and you see a general situation, general landscape. But then if you look closer, you will see all sorts of details. See that chair, that Jack in the Box, there's a ball, a flower there, more things there. And most of these cards have similar multi-layer things. Some are just simple with not much detail, but some, if you look close, they will reveal some interesting details here. This is a very busy one, for example. Oh, I'm a big fan of Perry the Platypus, what can I say? So I was pleased. And the cards are very pleasant because the kids recognize some locations that they've seen in cartoons or that they heard about, or they, in any case, they look colorful and familiar characters. So definitely nice art. The quality is good, and for a game that costs $5 or $6, I would say these cards will not super sturdy. They're still of better quality than I expected, and there's quite a few of them with nice characters, a nice mix of Disney characters. Definitely good cards. Again, to give you a sense of these details that emerge only at a close examination. The back of the cards, each card on the back has the name and the illustration of a thing, of a specific thing that is represented on some, not all, of the cards. The game, as you're supposed to play it, each player gets a hand of cards. Then a card is revealed from the bottom of the deck that becomes the active objective. Players look at their hand of cards looking for that object. The first player to find it in one of their cards stops the game, discards the card, then you select another object to become the target of the next search, and players continue like this until one player has completely emptied their hand, and that ends the game. And it ends it, of course, with the victory of the player that got rid of all of their cards. Why is this game terrible? Because basically it makes the visual search almost irrelevant. This is so nice. Look how much stuff is down there. The fun in the hidden picture is when you have a chance of solving the riddle of finding the hidden images. But as I said, the visual element is almost irrelevant because with a hand of cards, you have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, you can stare at these cards for as long as you want. You're not gonna see it. And if you have an opponent that has it, no matter how slow the person is, the person will just stall the game until they find that thing. So basically, it all amounts to the luck of the draw, to the hand of cards. These cards, as beautiful and nice as they are, they could have a single number or a single color. You flip it and the card says red, and if you have a red card, you discard it. It could be that simple. There is no difference because really being quick at scanning the images, finding the image is almost irrelevant. Almost, I said, of course, because if you do have a situation where both players have that item in somewhere in their cards, then the player that finds it faster will actually be the one that scores, but that doesn't always happen. And it really bothers me to have a game that is simply about which cards you're dealt without any skills or decisions involved. At least it's about that in most cases. How did I change the game? Super simple. In my version, you put out 10 cards face up. There are no individual hands of cards, so they're just 10 cards out there. And then you reveal a card that becomes the active card. Say, this is the active card, and this is the active item. Ores. Now, everybody at the same time looks at these 10 cards and looks for the ores. It may be that the ore is not there, but then that will affect everybody at the same time, in which case nobody can find it. Then the card, everybody agrees that the item is not there, the item is discarded, and another one is drawn. But of course, it may be that the item is there, ores, there you go. And at that point, the player that is the first to point out where the item is grabs the card. The card is replaced, so there are always 10 out there. Chances that the whichever item is there are not bad, and that's it. And you continue until a player has collected the number of cards that players agree in advance that will be needed for victory. Usually we play to 5. If I asked my daughter Amelia, she would simply say, why don't we go through the entire deck and we see who has most cards at the end. She likes long games. What can I say? For a 6-year-old, she can be particularly perseverant. This version works. Played my way if you decide to give this game a try. It works, it's fun. Then it is about finding the hidden image. It is about everybody having the same chances of solving the puzzle. The luck of the draw does not matter because it affects the cards that are scanned and analyzed by all players at the same time. And in this case, then, all the advantages that you have here, the beautiful art, the attractive characters, the levels of detail that you analyze, the logic involved. If it's ores, then the players learn quite quickly that there are certain locations that most likely will have that element.
If it's baskets, if it's dishes, if it's bears, well, maybe not here. And then look, there's a bear. No, there isn't. Oh, there's a ladder there. And yes, after a while, you get to learn some of these details. Oh, yeah, remember that there is that thing there. But then maybe the time that then the thing becomes the active item, the card is not available, someone else remembers it too. So this is a really good game that I made up from components that have great potential. These are very good components, super affordable, and played this way, the game is fun. It's a fun family game, and it also, yes, it is the kind of game I was looking for, because it is a game that I can play on an airplane. We scatter the cards on the little trays, with my daughter sitting one on each side of me, and we play the game. They like it. We tested it already. They like it. I like it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed looking at these cards. I enjoyed the challenge. Everybody had fun playing it. So I do recommend, now that summer is coming and people are traveling, maybe you do not need to get your children on an airplane for hours on end, but maybe you're going camping, maybe you're going on a car trip. I also see ways, as long as all the kids can see this, can see the cards, so they could play the game in a car. It's in the summer. If you need to entertain your kids while you are traveling somewhere where you're not at home, so you don't want to drag heavy games with you, this is a good game, as long as you completely ignore what the game is supposed to be according to the designer and the maker of the game, and you listen to my gently and kind advice. We like it very much. I recommend it. Fun and very affordable too.